So now I'm on. I got the camera.
Yeah, we all got our glasses on.
Yes, I wear mine. I'm with April and Steve.
Yes.
Now,
AJ.
okay. Jimmy's inside. We're at the Catholic Church where I take Pops a lot, where the charities. So today I was going to, Pops called me early. I'll talk a minute, then we're going to talk.
Yeah.
Pops called me earlier today. He said, John, if you can, come by. I said, I'll see Pops. I might be helping Jimmy today, Jimmy D. And so we came up here today they're signing up for like a couple of the Christmas meals. The charities give away like the Christmas meals and all. So we're going to run around. Jimmy's got a few things. Steve is hard of hearing. So, you know, he might just listen a little bit. He can't hear everything. But what we've been talking about as we came up here, it's interesting because I told Jimmy, I've only known Jimmy D for about 3 years now. But he says, well, we're going to pick up a friend and she knows how to sign up for where we're going to sign up. And I said, Jimmy, I might even know April, or I might know her. I said, because I know so many people. And when we were going to pick her up to come over here, I said, I think I recognize her. She said the same thing. I recognize you. And then she realized I seen her once at Timmons, the ministry. I said, yeah, that's how it works. I know a lot of people. Now, what we've been talking about out here is recovery, and some of the friends I worked with that are in recovery or are clean. And she asked me, she said, so how, are you clean now? How many years? I said, well, my big thing was alcoholism. Those of you know, I've talked about that. I said, I almost got 3 years. And we're just talking a little bit about that. You want to talk just anything about some of you're on a list for a possible, you're on dialysis right now.
Yes.
You want to talk a little bit about some of the physical effects you had over the years? Anything like that?
Well,
how long have you been on dialysis?
I've been on dialysis since I was 37. I'm 45 now. It's going to be going on 8 years. I used to drink. I used to do meth, coke, crack, done heroin, done pills. Used to work in the clubs for years. But dialysis slowed me down. That's how I deal with dialysis, because if it wasn't for dialysis, I'd probably still be out here using. And I have grandchildren now. Now, my oldest children have gone through all this, and it's affected them. Now, of course, I want my grandchildren to have a better life. Now, I have a 14-year-old, and he got strung out on legal. Well, I started legal too. And a lot of people don't realize when you smoke legal, you cannot get high on marijuana anymore. And it's also a heroin-based pesticide. Well, during Halloween, I got a hold of some, and I smoked it, and thank God, who I was around, they watched over me. But I took 3 hits, and the third hit, I knocked over, and I started having seizures. Well, I recently found a paper from the hospital, and it said for drug addiction. Now, this could prevent me from getting a transplant.
Yes.
And I am very blessed to be alive, because there's a lot of people who go to dialysis, and they don't make it. I mean, one day they're there, one day they're gone.
Go ahead, Jim. Sit in the middle, Jim.
So, it's been a very experience. I quit doing meth probably almost 3 years ago because I caught complicated walking pneumonia, and they cut half my lung out.
She showed me the scar. This is the other. See, so the lung, not only the dialysis and all. Are you on the list? I was telling.
I'm not on the list yet.
Okay, I was telling. How do you want me to refer to you? You didn't want the name. Say the other. AJ. I was telling AJ. Jimmy's back. I was telling AJ as we're sitting here talking about all the experiences she's gone through and all. I said, I got that car, the car I'm in, from my sister, and my sister was a heroin addict for many, many years, and when she died a few years ago, and I happened to have been in New Jersey right a few days before she passed away, I had already had a plane ticket to go to New Jersey, and I was going to stay at that time I was going to move back. My sister was so happy. Oh, John's coming back to live here. A few days before the ticket for the plane, she died. And I already had the ticket to go, so I even missed the funeral. But that's how I got the car. That was, yes, that was my sister's car. That's how I got the car. So I was sharing that with AJ because I said that's the effects that we've had. She's doing good talking, Jim. Now, Jim, I told Jim, I said, I probably know. He said, we're going to go pick up a friend and she knows where we're going to go.
It's right down here.
I said, I probably know her. And she shared a lot. I told her, you don't have to talk about it. But that was good she did. We were talking a little bit, Jim, out here about how legal. Now, legal is basically, there's different names for it. Legal weed has become real popular in the last 5 years or so. And I was telling AJ, I said, you know, I got friends of mine that use meth for years, crack for years. I said, some of those guys, they took one hit of legal, and one, you know, maybe smoked a half of a blunt, and they've said, man, they'll never do it again. Knocked them out, you know, totally, you know, like a trip. So some people, AJ was telling me it's very addictive and all. I never knew that it was heroin based. I said I knew they used the pesticides and all, and when you use you never know what's in anything you're going to buy. Even when you used to buy old, we used to call them joints back in the day, but you never knew if you. I smoked. I'm going to tell the story. One time, about 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, when I kind of backslid, went out and started drinking again. This is before my regular normal drinking. I took a friend of mine to Robstown. He was going to buy heroin in Robstown many years ago, maybe 20 years ago. And when I took him to Robstown, he was going to use the heroin in Robstown. That way he was going to bring it back. Yeah. And he came to the car. I was parked by a railroad track in Robstown. Robstown's known for heroin. And he brought me a joint, marijuana thing. And he told me, he said, John, he said, this is skunk weed, or whatever term he used. When I grew up, it meant it's not good, like it's crappy. Now, I smoked that joint, and it wasn't legal, it was years ago, but it had something else in it. I'll tell you, I went on a trip that day, just sitting there by those railroad tracks, like I said, wow, I am totally... And then he told me later, he said, John, I told you it was skunk, which he meant it was, yeah, I don't know, I don't think it had heroin. He was telling me this is good stuff.
Yeah, it was high grade.
Yes, and sometimes you don't know what's in anything, but I'll never forget that because I went, you know, I did mescaline many years ago when I was a kid, and I did not like it. It's a hallucinogen. I said I hated mescaline, but that day that I smoked 20 years ago, I said it just messed me up because you never know what you're getting, even when you buy something from somebody. But anybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Let me finish.
Yes.
As far as this legal goes, I started smoking it. And for everybody out there, you need to know that if you smoke legal, you can't ever smoke marijuana again because you ain't going to get high on it. And that legal will knock you out, cause you seizures. My psych nurse told me that the kids are smoking it. They're going to the hospital and they're shitting and pissing on themselves. They don't know where they are. So this is to all you kids out there. You might not come out of it because there's kids in the psych ward. They're shitting and pissing on themselves and they don't know where they are and they don't ever come out of it. And the adults, they're going in the hospital for 3 or 4 days, usually come out of it, but sometimes don't either. And it is very addictive. It's a heroin-based pesticide. It messes with your lungs. So God knows what it's going to do to your liver, your kidneys, or anything else. But I would advise people to stay away from it. It's not good.
I was telling AJ that just a few blocks from here, I said, I was working with the halfway house, you know. But you know, Cameron, who's in jail right now, even though he was trying to get off a lot of the other stuff, but the problems those guys had was the same thing with the legal. And I've never smoked legal, you know, I've not smoked pot, it's that one experience I told you. But Years ago, I smoked when I was a kid. But I've heard so many bad stories about the legal. And they also call it, what, K12 or K4? There's different
I think
names.
so, yeah.
There's different names for it. But it's basically, it's not legal. But there's reasons they call it that. Somebody asked me that once. But I had friends that Jimmy knows, I won't give the names, but some of our mutual friends told me, who were on meth for years and all, they said they did even one hit of legal, and it wiped them out. They were like totally out of their mind, and they did not like it. And so, interesting. Jimmy, how did it go? Give us some words.
I got signed up, so I got to come back and pick it up on the 18th.
And it's a Christmas
turkey and some extra things. I got to get some extra sides though with my food stamps. It's not a big thing.
And
I wanted to add something
yes.
to this. Like you were saying, I did one hit of this legal one time. I have a little company policy is never knock it till you try it. You know, that's real stupid, I know. So I tried it one time, and the kids left me one little tiny paper hit, and I rolled up a crutch, I put it in the crutch, and I took one hit. And the next thing I knew, when I took that hit, we were on the 627 heading towards Orange Grove, and when I woke up, we were on the 77 going south to Bishop, and that is in the wrong direction, about 20 minutes, at least 30 minutes away. I didn't come back to Earth until at least 20 minutes had passed. I didn't recognize the truck I was in. I didn't recognize the people that were driving. I looked to my side, and I noticed my girlfriend, Cindy Lou, and I said, thank God Cindy's here.
And that was just from one hit.
One
Jim.
hit.
And that's what some of the other friends have told me, the same thing. Guys that have used for many years other stuff, and they got scared of it.
Yeah, it scared me. I thought to myself, nothing on this planet should be that accessible and that cheap and that easy, readily available. It's very addicting, like AJ was saying here. It's highly addictive and really does. It can really hurt you. So just try to stay away from it. It's very bad, and it's an epidemic down here in Corpus, and it's just horrible.
Yeah, I think a lot of places.
It's doing a lot of damage. I just wanted to add that I tried it one time, took one hit, and did not know where I was at for 20 minutes, and didn't recognize any of the people I was in the car with, and I had met them at least an hour prior to this. I should have known where I was at. It was just too strong. I've never seen anything like that.
You want to say anything, Steve? It's up to you.
You want to say something?
No, I'm not good at that.
That's okay. That's why
I'll just agree with everybody.
Yeah.
I tried it one time, did not know who I was, where I was at, did not know anything that was going on.
Yes.
Don't ever do it. Don't ever smoke it.
Yeah. I've heard that from a lot of my friends that have been on. And so, AJ, you had the physical problem not only with the liver and with the dialysis, with the kidney, but also with the lung. How much were they? Did they take an entire lung out, or
half
just
a lung?
Half a lung.
But when you smoke legal, it affects your lungs. I can't breathe when I smoke it. I have to actually have a whole head respiratory on my head, and I have to take.
And it's highly addictive, even though some people.
You think that you can just get high a little bit. You think, oh, it just takes a little bit. You can have it, but you want to smoke. It's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
It put me in the hospital. And I'm lucky I came out of it.
And Jimmy D can testify. I said, when we went to get AJ, I said, we're going to get AJ. She knows where we go to sun up. I knew too. But I said, I probably know her because I've been on the streets for a lot. And then when I pulled up, I said, she looks familiar. And she recognized me. Oh, I remember meeting you. I told her I'm a retired firefighter. Oh, I remember talking to you over at Timmins. I said, it's kind of like a little family community in the whole city. Sometimes I run into people on this side, so over there. All right, so that's all we had. And let's talk,
all I
AJ.
can say is try to pray to have God put the right people, places, and things in your life. If people aren't good for you, go the other way, because they'll take you down. They're like a vortex. which is an empty hole that sucks everything into it. And that's what the drugs and people that are addicted do. But you pray for the right people and places and things in your life. And I did last night. And look, I'm around 3 other fellow members that are sober today. And we've been, thank God we're still alive, because there's a lot of people that ain't here. And we've all seen them pass away around us over the years that died. So, being a person of addictive personality that uses drinks, drugs, whatever, we always tend to replace one with another.
Yeah.
And we will have a battle for the rest of our life, I feel. But it gets easier as you go along.
Yeah.
And all I can say is just pray for the right people and places in your life. And just God bless everybody.
I was telling AJ, I said, you know, I'm almost 3 years sober. And you know, on the videos I talk about a lot of my stuff. I said, but I'm still physically, you know, I got up today, insomnia. I got up today at 2 in the morning. Everybody watches videos, I tell them, I got up today. Still, now almost 3 years sober. But when I drank, as much as I used to drink, I'll tell you one thing, I didn't get up that early in the morning because I drank and I slept.
Yeah.
I still got up early and did my stuff, but I didn't get up like at 1 in the morning and all, which I've been doing that now for a while. So, and they say, the literature even on alcoholism says, one of the side effects of going sober is insomnia. But now that's 3 years for me. So look at how long the effects are. I was a very steady drinker because I worked, and so it wasn't like, oh, I got real drunk, then I did 6 months in jail or whatever. No, very steady. So even though a functioning alcoholic, sometimes they're worse than binge people, because you just keep that steady thing going for all those years. So that was kind of my thing. The church is beautiful. I just wanted everybody to say hi.
Now, you know what Dr. Oz said this morning about hangovers?
Tell me.
Dr. Oz said this morning, the reason why you are hungover is because the alcohol dries up your brain like a walnut, and your brain is bouncing around in your head, and that's what's giving you a hangover. So next time you drink, you better think, because you're drying up your brain into a size of a walnut. I don't know about you, but I don't want a peanut for a brain, and I sure in the hell don't want a walnut-sized brain or a nut-sized brain, even though we are all nuts, but I don't want a nut for a brain. God bless and peace out.
Okay, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Jimmy, say goodbye.
Y'all have a great day and take care of your good selves.
We were going to, you know, Pops, we're going to head out. Pops wanted me to maybe go help him today, but I got a different crew today.